Are you ready to dive into a tale of deceit and literary cunning that reshaped history? Stop what you're doing, because this story packs the most controversial scam you've never heard of. This isn't just a story about a book. It's about how words can manipulate, deceive, and even drive empires. I promise by the end of this video, you'll never see literature the same way again. Our story begins in the Middle Ages, a time when Europe was a swirl of empires, monarchs, and religious power struggles. Now, in this chaotic backdrop, there was one thing highly prized: knowledge. But knowledge wasn't as accessible as it is now. Books were a rare commodity, painstakingly hand-copied. In many cases, books held hidden power. They could make or break nations. Enter the clerics of the time. It was their job not only to protect knowledge, but occasionally to craft it. And this is where our protagonist makes an entrance, a man by the name of Philip, the master scribe. Philip wasn't just any medieval scribe. He was also a brilliant forger. Philip discovered an opportunity to write a book, not for enlightenment, but for manipulation. The target? The king of a neighboring territory. This was no ordinary royalty. It was a king desperate for validation, despairing over an unstable reign. To Philip, this was the perfect target. Someone hungry to solidify their claim to the throne, even at the cost of dishonesty. Over the span of several years, Philip carefully crafted a masterpiece, but not of fine prose or poetic verses. Instead, he created the Chronicles of Majestic Rule. It was a fictitious document that outlined a completely fabricated lineage for the king. Written as though it was ancient history, the book depicted the king's ancestors as divine beings and conquerors, chosen by the heavens to rule. Every letter, every detail was meticulously staged to make it look authentic. Using ancient languages, ink recipes, and even exaggerated stories passed down verbally, Philip made the Chronicles seem like the work of a historian lost to time. It was the medieval equivalent of a blockbuster historical find. Convinced by this fabricated history, the king widely circulated the Chronicles. People believed it because, well, it was in a book. And during a time when literacy was a privilege of the elite, questioning written texts was almost unheard of. To the masses, books were respected as absolute truth. The king did, in fact, solidify his reign. The Chronicles played a major role in justifying his rule and rallying support from allies who were previously unconvinced. Over time, this fake history began to influence real events. Rivals feared attacking a monarch whose lineage was apparently ordained by divine intervention. But, like every great scam, the truth eventually surfaced, though not until years after Philip and the king had both passed away. Scholars in later centuries discovered inconsistencies in the text. Parts of these majestic chronicles didn't align with archaeological findings or other contemporary scripts of the era. The book's authenticity faded, but the damage had been done. Wars and policies had already played out based on Philip's creation. Strikingly, this story teaches us how knowledge can be both a weapon and a tool. As simple as it may seem now, an overlooked scribe managed to alter the fate of kingdoms by asking a single question: what if I rewrite the truth? It reminds us to question everything, even things that seem carved in stone. So what do you think? Should we honor Philip as a master storyteller or condemn him as a manipulator of history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, the next time you open a historical book, think of Philip and his Chronicles of Majestic Rule. What secrets might those pages conceal? You'll never look at history the same way again.